My girlfriend told me, monogamy is oppressive, you should appreciate that I'm willing to share myself. I simply nodded. That night, I moved out, removed my name from the lease, and sent the conversation to her pastor father. The next day, she came to my job in tears. 3 weeks ago, my girlfriend of 2 years, the woman I was planning to marry, looked me dead in the eye and casually announced she was going to start sleeping with other people. Just like that. My entire world imploded, and she acted like she was telling me she'd changed her hair color. We weren't just dating, we were building a life. Our names were on a lease in a beautiful downtown apartment, and we'd spent countless nights dreaming about a future that included a ring, maybe a house, definitely a dog. Everything felt solid, real. Or so I thought. Then came Monday evening, October 14th. That night changed everything in about 10 minutes flat. I walked in from work around 6:30, grabbed a beer, and there she was, Chloe, at the kitchen table. It wasn't like she was studying for a test, but like she was preparing a presentation. She had this serious, almost unsettling determination on her face that told me she'd been thinking about something all day. "Hey babe, what's all this?" I asked, completely oblivious, still thinking about dinner. She looked up, a calculated glint in her eye. "I've been doing some reading about relationship structures and modern connection philosophy. I need to talk to you about something important." I figured it was about vacation plans, or maybe even finally getting that second dog. My mind raced through happy possibilities. I sat down across from her, and that's when I saw them, the articles. Polyamory. Open relationships. Something called ethical non-monogamy. A cold dread started to settle in my stomach. "Okay, what's on your mind?" I asked, my voice a little tighter than I intended. Chloe took a deep theatrical breath, like she was about to deliver a rehearsed monologue. And then it started. "I've been thinking a lot about our relationship and where I am in my personal growth journey. I've realized that monogamy is an outdated, oppressive social construct that limits human potential and authentic connection." I just stared at her. "Come again." My brain couldn't process the words. She leaned forward, her voice unwavering. "Traditional monogamy was created by patriarchal societies to control women's sexuality and treat people like property. It's not natural or healthy for evolved individuals." She wasn't joking. Not even a hint of irony. This wasn't a test. This was her new gospel. "Where is this coming from, Chloe?" I finally managed. "I've been attending this conscious relationship workshop for the past month," she declared, her eyes shining. "It's opened my eyes to how limiting our current arrangement is." The pieces clicked. The late nights she'd been having, the vague excuses. This was it. This authentic love and liberation workshop was behind it all. "So what are you saying?" I asked, my voice barely a whisper now. "I'm saying I want us to evolve past traditional monogamy. I want to explore connections with other people while maintaining what we have together." "You want to sleep with other people?" My voice was flat. "I want us both to be free to form authentic connections without artificial constraints," she countered, almost indignantly. "Other people, Chloe. You want to sleep with other people." She got defensive. "It's not just about sex. It's about personal growth and authentic human connection, right?" My blood ran cold. "And you've already got someone in mind for this authentic connection, don't you?" Her face flushed slightly. "Just slightly. There might be someone I've connected with, yes. But that's not the point." "That's exactly the point." I shot back, my voice rising. "You've already lined someone up and now you're trying to get permission to cheat by calling it personal growth. It's not cheating if we both agree to an open relationship structure." "Except I don't agree to anything. This is the first I'm hearing about your new relationship philosophy." She met my gaze with infuriating calmness. "That's why we're having this conversation. I'm giving you the opportunity to grow with me." Giving me the opportunity. Like she was doing me some kind of favor. I was being dumped, and I was supposed to be grateful for the chance to evolve. The audacity was staggering. "What if I don't want an open relationship?" I asked, my voice shaking with a quiet rage. "Then you're choosing to stay trapped in outdated thinking patterns," she replied, a patronizing note in her tone. "Or I'm choosing to stay in a committed relationship with someone I love," I retorted. "Love isn't about possession, Jake. Love is about wanting your partner to experience all the joy and connection life has to offer." It was like listening to someone who had joined a cult explain why drinking poison was actually enlightenment. Every objection I raised, She had a pre-programmed, workshop-approved answer. It was chilling. "Chloe, are you breaking up with me?" I pleaded, a desperate hope clinging to her words. "No," she said, her voice softer, almost soothing. "I'm offering us both the chance to experience a more evolved form of relationship, by sleeping with other people, by removing artificial limitations on human connection." "Who is he?" I asked, cutting through the jargon. "The guy you've already connected with. Who is he?" She hesitated. Just for a second. "His name is Marcus. He's one of the workshop facilitators." Of course. The workshop facilitator. The pieces were truly all in place now. She'd found someone, and this whole philosophy was just a convoluted justification. "Have you already slept with him?" I demanded. "We've shared some intimate moments, nothing sexual. I wanted to talk to you before taking things further." So she'd already started an emotional affair, but wanted permission to make it physical. Apparently, their conscious relationship workshop taught integrity meant asking for permission after you'd already crossed every line. "Chloe, this is insane. We've been together for 2 years. We live together. We were talking about getting engaged. And we can still have all of that," she insisted. "But we can also have the freedom to explore other connections." "I don't want to explore other connections. I want to be with you." "That's your choice," she said, shrugging. "But you should be grateful. I'm willing to share myself with you while also honoring my authentic needs." Grateful. I should be grateful she was letting me share her with the workshop facilitator. "You should be grateful I'm letting you share me," I heard myself say, the words dripping with sarcasm. "Exactly," she beamed, completely missing my tone. "Most people in my position would just end the relationship and move on. I'm offering you the chance to be part of my journey." That was it. The absolute moment of clarity. I was dating someone who had completely, utterly lost touch with reality. She genuinely believed she was being generous by offering to cheat on me with permission. I nodded slowly, a strange calm washing over me. "You know what? You're absolutely right." "Really?" She looked surprised, relieved even. "Yeah, you should definitely explore authentic connections without artificial limitations," I said, a cold, calculating resolve hardening in my chest. "I'm so glad you understand." She actually smiled. "I was worried you'd react with jealousy and possessiveness." "Not at all," I said, my voice eerily calm. "I think you should be completely free to follow your authentic path. This is going to be so good for both of us." "I'm sure it will be," she agreed. We talked for another 20 minutes about ground rules and communication protocols. Chloe had apparently researched this extensively and had a whole framework for how ethical non-monogamy was supposed to work: regular check-ins, complete honesty, safe sex practices, emotional boundaries. It was like listening to someone explain the rules of a game I had no intention of playing. Around 9 p.m., I told Chloe I needed to go for a drive to process everything we discussed. She was thrilled that I was taking time for mindful reflection instead of reacting emotionally. I drove straight to my buddy Connor's place. Told him the basic situation, and he just shook his head. "Dude, she's already cheating and trying to get you to say it's okay." "Pretty much," I sighed. "What are you going to do?" "I'm going to let her explore authentic connections without any artificial limitations," I told him, a grim determination in my voice. Over the next few days, I quietly started preparing my exit. I'd learned something crucial about Chloe. When she made up her mind about something, especially something she convinced herself was morally superior, she didn't change course easily. This wasn't a phase. This was her new identity. And I wanted no part of it. I contacted our landlord that Thursday morning to ask about removing myself from the lease. By the way, if you're still hooked on this roller coaster ride of a story, hit that subscribe button. You won't want to miss what happens next, or any of the other wild tales I've got coming. That weekend, while Chloe was at a weekend intensive retreat, probably with Marcus, Connor helped me move most of my belongings to a storage unit. I left just enough stuff so she wouldn't notice immediately, but all my important possessions were somewhere safe. The hardest part, though, was writing the letter. Not to Chloe, but to her father, Pastor Williams. He's the head of the big Baptist church across town, a pillar of traditional family values and a community leader. Chloe had spent our entire relationship complaining about how oppressive and judgmental her religious upbringing was. Funny how she conveniently forgot that when she decided to embrace conscious relationship practices. I wrote a careful letter. No emotion, no editorializing. Just the facts. I explained that Chloe and I were ending our relationship because she decided monogamy wasn't compatible with her personal growth journey. I mentioned her alternative relationship structures learned in workshops, and her intimate connection with one of the facilitators, Marcus. I let Pastor Williams draw his own conclusions about his daughter's authentic journey toward non-monogamous enlightenment. And just for good measure, I included copies of some of the workshop flyers Chloe had left around the apartment. Nothing private, just the promotional materials. Figured her dad might want to understand her new framework for personal growth. I mailed the letter on Monday, October 21st, exactly 1 week after our initial conversation. Monday evening, my phone started buzzing. Chloe had come home. She'd noticed things were missing. "Jake, where are your books and your gaming setup?" she demanded, her voice tight with panic. "I moved some stuff. You said you wanted to explore new living arrangements. Thought you might want more space," I deadpanned. "What are you talking about?" "I said I wanted us to explore relationship structures, not living arrangements." "Same thing, really? Hard to maintain artificial limitations when you're sharing a bedroom," I replied. "Jake, this isn't what I meant." "What did you mean?" "I meant we'd both be free to form other connections while living together and maintaining our primary relationship, right? And I've decided you should have complete freedom to do that. But I don't want you to move out. I want us to navigate this together." "There's nothing to navigate, Chloe. You've made your choice about what kind of relationship you want." She tried calling 17 more times that night. I turned off my phone after the first few. Tuesday brought more frantic messages, but I was busy apartment hunting. Connor said I could stay as long as needed, but I wanted my own place. Wednesday morning brought the call I'd been expecting. "Jacob, this is Pastor Williams. I received your letter. I need to speak with you." "Good morning, Pastor Williams. How are you?" I replied, trying to keep my voice even. He didn't mince words. "I'm concerned. Is what you wrote about Chloe accurate?" "Yes, sir. That's exactly what she told me last Monday. She said monogamy is oppressive. Her exact words were that monogamy is an outdated, oppressive social construct created by patriarchal societies to control women." A long, heavy silence. "And she's involved with another man, someone named Marcus, who facilitates the workshops she's been attending? She said they'd shared intimate moments and she wanted to explore their connection further." "I see. These workshops, do you know what organization runs them?" "Something called Authentic Love and Liberation. I included some of their materials in the envelope." "Yes, I saw those. Very enlightening reading." He paused again. "I thought you should know, since she's your daughter and all." He thanked me. Said I handled it with more grace than he might have. Wednesday afternoon, Chloe showed up at my office. I work for a small marketing firm downtown, and our receptionist called, warning me I had a visitor who seemed upset. I walked to the lobby, and there she was, looking like she'd been crying for hours. Her eyes were red and swollen. "Jake, we need to talk," she pleaded. "Chloe, I'm at work. This isn't the place. My father called me this morning. He's not happy about the workshops I've been attending." "I imagine not. What did you tell him?" "I told him the truth about your new relationship philosophy. You sent him workshop materials. He thinks I've joined some kind of sex cult." "Have you joined some kind of sex cult?" I asked, completely deadpan. "It's not a sex cult. It's about conscious relationship practices and personal growth." My boss had come out, hovering nearby, clearly concerned about the disruption. "Chloe, you need to lower your voice. This is my workplace." "Jake, please. I think I may have gotten carried away with some of these ideas. Maybe we can work this out." "Work what out?" I asked. "I could stop attending the workshops. We could go to regular couples counseling instead." "What about Marcus? What about him? What about your intimate connection and exploring authentic relationships?" "Maybe I was being impulsive," she admitted, her voice deflating. "Or maybe you were being honest about what you wanted for the first time in our relationship." "I don't know what I want anymore," she cried. "That sounds like something you should figure out," I said firmly. "But you should figure it out without me being grateful to share you while you decide." My boss approached us. "Everything okay here?" "Everything's fine," I said. Chloe was just leaving. She looked between us, realizing she'd created a scene at my job. Jake, can we please talk tonight somewhere private? I don't think that's a good idea. Please just give me a chance to explain. You already explained very thoroughly, Chloe. With research materials and everything. She stood there for another moment, defeated, before finally walking out. I spent the rest of the afternoon answering my boss's careful questions about whether I needed time off to deal with personal issues. Over the next few days, the reality of consequences hit Chloe hard. Pastor Williams had apparently had some very strong words with his daughter about her new lifestyle choices. Her family was pressuring her to come home and reconsider her recent decisions. Friday, October 25th, Connor showed me the Facebook posts. Chloe was sharing articles about how some people can't handle their partner's personal growth, and how toxic masculinity manifests as controlling behavior when women assert sexual autonomy. The posts got increasingly desperate over the weekend, with vague references to people who claim to love you but abandon you when you need support most. Monday morning, October 28th, Pastor Williams called again. Jacob, I wanted to update you on the situation. How is Chloe doing? She's coming home this week. She's decided to step back from these workshops and take some time to reconsider her recent choices. That's probably wise, I said. She's also asked me to reach out to you. She wants to apologize for how she handled things. I appreciate that, but there's nothing to apologize for. She was honest about what she wanted. And what did she want? He asked. Freedom to explore connections with other people, while keeping me as a backup option in case the exploration didn't work out. I see. And you weren't interested in that arrangement? No, sir. I believe relationships work best when both people are committed to each other exclusively. As do I, Jacob. You're a good man. I'm sorry my daughter put you through this. She's young, and was exploring new ideas. Sometimes that's how people figure out what they really value. Tuesday evening, Chloe called me directly for the first time in over a week. Her voice was small, shaky. Jake, I've been doing a lot of thinking. Okay, I said, bracing myself. I think I got caught up in some ideas that weren't really me. The workshop facilitator, Marcus, he was very persuasive about these relationship concepts. Persuasive how? He made it seem like monogamy was this oppressive thing holding me back from personal growth. But now I'm wondering if he was just trying to manipulate me into a situation that benefited him. What makes you think that? When things got complicated with my family, and you moved out, he suddenly became a lot less interested in exploring our connection. So now that there are real-world consequences, conscious relationship practices don't seem as appealing? I asked, a bitter taste in my mouth. I know how that sounds, but yes, basically. Chloe, do you hear yourself right now? What do you mean? You're telling me you abandoned our relationship for someone who lost interest the moment your situation became inconvenient. And now you want to come back because your backup plan didn't work out. That's not, yes, but what? But I realized I made a huge mistake. I love you, Jake. I want to be with you. You loved me 3 weeks ago, too. That didn't stop you from deciding I should be grateful to share you. I was confused. Those workshops, they make everything sound so logical and enlightened, but in practice, it's just chaos and people getting hurt. So, you're saying you want exclusive commitment now? Yes. Absolutely. No more workshops, no more exploring alternative relationships, just us. Until the next time someone convinces you that commitment is oppressive. That won't happen again. How do I know that? A long silence. I guess you don't. I guess I have to prove it. Chloe, the issue isn't that you explored other ideas about relationships. The issue is that you were ready to throw away 2 years together based on 3 weeks of workshops with someone you barely knew. I know that now. And the issue is that you genuinely believed I should be grateful for the privilege of sharing you with other people. I was being selfish and calling it personal growth, right? And now that being selfish has consequences, you want to go back to the security you gave up. Jake, please. I know I don't deserve another chance, but I'm asking for one anyway. What happened to Marcus? I asked. What? Your workshop facilitator? What happened to him? When my dad found out about the workshops, and you moved out, Marcus said the situation had become too complicated. He said he couldn't be responsible for breaking up families and causing drama. So he dumped you when your authentic connection became inconvenient. And now you want to come back to the guy who you said was trapped in outdated thinking patterns. I was wrong about everything, Jake. About the workshops, about Marcus, about what I wanted. You were honest about what you wanted. That was actually the most valuable thing about this whole situation. I didn't want what I said I wanted. You wanted the excitement of something new while keeping the security of what you already had. When you couldn't have both, you chose the excitement. Now that the excitement is gone, you want the security back. Maybe that's true. But doesn't that tell you something about what I actually value? It tells me you value whatever feels good in the moment. That's not fair. It's exactly fair. She cried for a while on the phone. I felt bad for her, I really did. But I also knew that feeling bad wasn't the same as wanting to rebuild something she'd been willing to throw away so casually. Jake, what would it take for you to give us another chance? I honestly don't know if there's anything, Chloe. You didn't just want to break up with me. You wanted me to be grateful that you were keeping me around while you explored other options. That shows a level of disrespect that I don't know how to get past. I understand that now. I understand how awful that was. Do you? Or do you understand that it had consequences you didn't want to deal with? She couldn't answer that. We talked for another 20 minutes, but it kept coming back to the same thing. She wanted to undo a choice that hadn't worked out the way she expected. I wanted to be with someone who wouldn't make that choice in the first place. That was last week. She's been staying with her parents, apparently going to counseling with the church pastor. Her friends have been reaching out, asking if I'll give her another chance. But my position hasn't changed. She wanted to explore authentic connections without artificial limitations. She got to do exactly that. And she learned something about what happens when the person providing your emotional and financial security isn't willing to share you with workshop facilitators. I'm in my own apartment now downtown, but in a different area. Starting fresh felt important. The whole experience taught me a valuable, albeit painful, lesson about compatibility and values. Someone who's willing to throw away years of commitment based on a few weeks of workshops isn't someone I can build a future with, regardless of how much they regret it afterward. Chloe can find someone who appreciates being part of her journey toward authentic connection. That someone just isn't going to be me. So, I've told you my story. It's been a crazy few weeks. Now I'm curious, what would you have done in my place? Have you ever had someone try to redefine your relationship in a way that just felt wrong? Tell me what you think in the comments below. I really want to know.